Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, we need to step right into the Situation Room today to unpack the latest Daily Tech Reader Wildfire Situation Report for August 23rd, 2026. What we're looking at is a nationwide crisis unfolding in real time across multiple states. It's being driven by absolutely extreme weather patterns, and it is stretching our firefighting resources to their very breaking point. The data we're going over today gives us a stark, unvarnished look at exactly what the folks on the ground are facing right now.
7,738,302. That is the staggering number of acres that have burned across the United States so far in 2026. I mean, it's an immense scale of destruction. To put that into perspective, nearly 8 million acres have gone up in smoke just by late August. And to understand how we got here and what the frontline crews are dealing with at this exact moment, we really have to look at the official readiness levels.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The U.S. is currently sitting at Preparedness Level 5. Now, in the world of wildland fire management, you need to know there is no Level 6. This is it, the absolute highest tier of emergency response. Being at Level 5 means several geographic areas are seeing major, highly complex incidents, and virtually all of our national firefighting resources are fully committed. We are literally in an all-hands-on-deck scenario for the entire country.
So here's our briefing roadmap for today. First, the Level 5 National Fire Overview. 2, a global firefighting mobilization. 3, weather fueling the flames. 4, the Pacific Northwest under siege. 5, the Rockies and Great Basin. And 6, extreme heat in the Southwest.
Starting right off with Section 1, Level 5, the National Fire Overview. Right now, as we speak, crews are battling a baseline of 79 completely uncontained large fires scattered all across the map. Just think about that for a second. 79 massive blazes with absolutely zero containment lines fully securing them. And it's evolving so fast. In just this latest reporting period alone, 5 entirely new large incidents just sprang up. The crucial takeaway here is that this is a relentless daily battle. Yesterday alone, 200 new fires were reported nationwide. That brings the total for 2026 up to a mind-boggling 50,580 wildfires. To fight back against all this, we currently have over 22,000 personnel deployed to incidents across the country. We're talking about a sustained, massive threat requiring a truly staggering amount of human resources, day in and day out. Which leads us to Section 2, a global firefighting mobilization. Now, what's really interesting here is that with our domestic resources stretched to the absolute limit, this is no longer just a civilian firefighting effort. It's a full-on military and global mobilization. We've got an international contingent from Australia and New Zealand, 270 personnel holding the line in the Northwest and Great Basin. Active U.S. military troops have stepped up too, with 240 soldiers from the 7th Infantry Division deployed on the Little Giant fire. And up in the sky, we've got Air National Guard and Air Force Reserves flying 5 C-13 air tankers, dropping retardant over Oregon and California. Let's look at why this is happening in Section 3, weather fueling the flames. So why this massive explosion of fire right now? Well, it brilliantly illustrates a brutal geographic contrast. Up north, you've got an upper trough sweeping over places like Montana, bringing these scattered, fast-moving dry thunderstorms. That means lightning with zero rain, plus gusty winds. It's literally the perfect recipe for erratic roof fires to start. But down south, it's a completely different, yet equally terrifying story. A persistent heat dome is just baking the Southwest. We're talking temperatures between 100 and 115 degrees, with bone-dry humidity dropping down to between 8 and 20%.
Moving to Section 4, Pacific Northwest under siege.
The Northwest area is essentially fighting a war entirely on its own right now, managing 29 uncontained large fires. Washington's Little Giant fire is huge, sitting at over 142,000 acres. But then you look next door at Oregon, and it's just on another level. The Roe Creek complex has consumed over 373,000 acres, and the Big Grass Fire is an absolute mega fire, spanning an incredible 578,637 acres. That's a single fire exhibiting creeping, torching, and smoldering behavior across more than 500,000 acres of land. It's almost hard to wrap your head around. Next, Section 5, Rockies and Great Basin. As we head eastward into the Rockies and the Great Basin, those gusty winds and dry storms we mentioned are triggering immense new fronts. Montana is tracking heavy activity, like the Sand Creek Fire, which is over 32,000 acres and only 10% contained. Over in Nevada, the Bug Fire has reached nearly 94,000 acres. Meanwhile, Colorado is managing 6 uncontained large fires of its own, including the Aspen Acres Fire, which just surpassed 100,000 acres. The geographical footprint of these blazes is simply immense. They're popping up everywhere. Finally, Section 6, Extreme Heat in the Southwest. Down in this final theater, the main enemy isn't necessarily the raw size of the fires. It's the immediate, terrifying risk to local communities. The acreages might be smaller than those Oregon megafires, but make no mistake, they are intensely dangerous. In California, fires are making active uphill runs, directly threatening homes and critical communications infrastructure. In New Mexico, the 15,000-acre Fragola's fire is actively backing through terrain and threatening homes as well. And all of this is happening while firefighters in Arizona face a brutal 112-degree reality, completely pushing human endurance to the absolute limit. Which brings us to a final, really critical question that this entire report leaves us grappling with. We have over 22,000 people deployed. We are calling in the military and our international allies. Nearly 7.7 million acres have already burned, and we are stuck holding at preparedness level 5. How long can our systems, and more importantly, how long can sheer human endurance actually sustain this level of relentless crisis? The data paints a very vivid, very sobering picture of the extreme new reality of our wildfire seasons. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to keep tracking this vital issue.